So what's good, family? It's your boy DJ BlessOne back with another one. And today we got to talk about the latest attack on Shedeur Sanders by the Cleveland media, specifically ESPN's Cleveland's own Aaron Goldhammer. Let's get Aaron on the screen. Let's get the goofy clown and put him on the screen. This goofy guy right here. I'm going to break down what happened. Now, Aaron Goldhammer, this man really went on air and said Shedeur hugging kicker Andre Szmyt after the field goal was a publicity stunt. He at least insinuated that, and he says these things. He's going to lie and say his sources are the people, but what people were saying this. So he thinks like the people who don't like us, and I'm about to play the video, because then to make it worse, he doubled down and said Shedeur wearing his hat backwards was some sort of big issue. Really? That's what we're doing today? This isn't just football talk anymore. This is deeper than football, and it's bigger than football. You listen to Aaron, and you tell me how you feel about it.
The Browns, they didn't let him go against the ones the whole time in training camp. There has to be a reason for this. And the only thing I can come up with is that he's not putting the work in off the field. I asked Aaron. I said to Aaron today, I go, man, I said, I'm a little bummed, a little bored. There's no Shedeur buzz going on. He's a third-string quarterback. And Aaron goes, oh, there's Shedeur buzz. And I'm like, what? He didn't do anything. He didn't get in the game.
The Browns fan base, as always on this issue, is divided. There are half the people who thought that him going over to Szmyt kicker and telling him it'll be okay.
Oh, Mike.
Like, because on TV, the one shot of Andre Szmyt on the sideline after the missed field goal.
Oh, and you think Shedeur just happened to know what?
No. I'm not telling you what I think. I will tell you.
Aaron, you are telling us what you specifically think. Where did you do this poll at? How did you come up with a poll that says half of the Cleveland fan base thought Shedeur was doing a publicity stunt? And why the other two players who came to Andre's defense, you didn't call that a publicity stunt, or you didn't do this weird poll on? And you guys see what they're doing? You see what's going on? And it gets worse. Did you listen to Tony Rizzo, when he tried to sustain it by saying that, what's going on with the Shedeur situation? Maybe he's not doing the work off the field. Like, you see how it must be he has off-field issues if he's not in the game. They can't help themselves. And I got another part of the video, but I need my goddamn theme song right now.
I've been broke so many times, I don't want to believe. Mama say it's my fault. It's my fault. I wear my heart on my sleeve. Niggas bless up on my...
Well, YouTube family, this is going to be one of those long videos because that's when you know I'm exposing somebody. The receipts are out here and the exposing is coming. So before we do the exposing, let's listen to part 2 of Tony Rizzo and Aaron Goldhammer. Specifically, Aaron Goldhammer used the race analogy against Shedeur Sanders being at the sideline. Let's listen.
I want everyone to consider the source here. I'm not in the building. I don't know what the deal is. I'm a fan. I'm just looking at this from the outside looking in, and there's got to be something to it. There got to be.
There was one...
Consoling a teammate? That's not good, right?
I give Shedeur a little bit of advice. No.
I don't want you giving Shedeur advice.
Riz on the sideline.
Yeah, listen to this, Chris. Now, this pissed me off. Now, this did.
With the backwards hat and the sunglasses and the look of it, I would just remind Shedeur, lock in on the game. Watch the game.
What?
Who said he wasn't?
Didn't Flacco have a hat on backwards? Doesn't Jalen Hurts do that all the time? He's done it. You're knocking a kid for wearing his hat backwards?
I didn't say that.
Man,
I said, Riz, hold on.
Chris,
I said watching him.
Let him go somewhere else. Let him go play for someone. Let him go win a...
I agree with Riz. Let him go play somewhere else because the Cleveland media is absolutely racist to a T. And I'm going to continue. This guy literally talked about hats backwards. Joe Flacco had his hats backwards. Guess who else? Tom Brady had his hats backwards. Jalen Hurts. But you specifically had an issue with Shedeur. And then you made a false narrative as if Shedeur isn't focusing on the game. These people can't help themselves. So the hug, the publicity stunt narrative, let's talk about it. And don't worry, let me start this off before I show you the next receipt exposing Aaron. So let's start with the hug. A young quarterback counseling his kicker after a tough moment is what leadership looks like. That's what being a teammate is all about. But Aaron Goldhammer wants to flip that into some stage publicity stunt. Let's be real. If Joe Flacco did that, which he did, or if Dylan Gabriel did that, which he did in college, that is, the media would call it classy, inspirational, veteran leadership. But when Shedeur does it, suddenly it's fake. Suddenly it's about marketing. Suddenly it's a problem when a problem was never occurring before. That is what I've been saying for months. Shedeur is judged differently, and the double standards are clear as day. Now let's get to the backward hats nonsense. So then we get to the backward hats that I'm looking at, like, where was this and why was it even a thing? I didn't see it anywhere until Goldhammer talked about it. Facts. So he made up a false narrative of sorts because this is who he is and this is what he wanted to talk about. He's out here acting like Shedeur wearing his hat backwards is some type of crime. That's not about football. That's not about image. That's about stereotypes. Mark my word, it was about stereotypes. Let's call it. What is it? Dudes like Aaron Goldhammer sees Shedeur through the lens of a John Singleton movie like Boys in the Hood. They don't see him as a leader. They don't see him as a polished young quarterback. They see a stereotype. That's not football critique. That's a racial bias, plain and simple. Now, Tony Rizzo shade, if you notice, it ain't just Goldhammer. Like, I like Tony Rizzo, but he slid in a little jab there by insinuating that Shedeur's issues must be off-field problems, even though he goes hard in the paint for Shedeur, but that's dog whistle territory. Family, no evidence, no facts, just throwing shade because they don't want to admit the real issue is Kevin Stefanski and the entire front office and the predictable sorry play calling the Browns organization not knowing how to handle. Now, Aaron Goldhammer's history and privilege. Now, let's break it down. Goldhammer himself, this man is the antithesis of Cleveland. Do you guys understand me? He plays this negative Nancy character like it's a shitch, but he doesn't have the awareness or skill to pull it off. He's not engaging with fans. He's antagonizing fans. Now, I'm about to drop the receipts because I feel like it. Let me take his goofy face off the screen right quick. Let's get to it. So, do you remember you had a racist friend, Aaron, who worked at Cleveland media with you? I don't want the people to tell me they can't fire him for that offense when they fired people for lesser offense. Remember, see, I keep the receipts on deck. Remember your best friend? Remember her, Sabrina Parr, Aaron, when they got rid of her for insinuating that Jabril Peppers and even Joe Thomas insinuating that they were on that lean. Specifically, she was going in on Jabril Peppers, the Michigan University alum who was a great college player and NFL player. She alleged to that. Remember, she got fired for it, so you should get fired as well. No, I'm going to keep the receipts. Remember this right here? Remember when Tony Rizzo spoke truth. You guys are going to say this is just radio sketch and humor, but there's always truth to what guys are saying. Your own partner, Tony, aired you out live on ESPN radio almost 3 years ago.
Done at the end of this year. Done. I'm out, Jerry. Craig Carmen is in the other room. And I will inform him during a break that I'm done at the end of this year on the Really Big Show. All over. I've worked my whole life at doing this, and everyone thinks it's the Aaron Goldhammer show. And I'm done. And I am done. I mean, no, I'm serious. I am done. Good luck with your new show. I hope you could sell jewelry and windows, and I hope you can do it. I really do. I'll be rooting for you.
Thanks. Sounds like you'll be rooting for me.
I have other things that I'll be doing, but I am done. I have worked 35 years. This guy hijacking every great interview I pull off. Sick of it. Done. I'm all done.
My first show, I'm going to come on and say, I was talking to.
You think that's satire? You think that's just radio play? There's always truth in comedy and certain radio comedic gestures or whatever they had going on there. That was truth bomb being annotated, but really verbiage. Pay attention, guys. I'm not done yet. Aaron, you're a rat. You dried snitch, even though I don't like the dude, but Tony Grassi, when he got suspended for going at Baker Mayfield, it was you and your snobbish way. You recorded it, you and Tony Rizzo, but in particular you. You knew what it was going on and you didn't even give him the heads up. Oh, I got the tapes.
Okay, so we miss out wins. Keep that.
Yeah, remember that part right there? Now let's break you down to a T. Let me get your goofy face back up here. We got to break you down to a T and make it make sense. We have to, sir. So we know who you are. We know what it is, and we know what you bring out here. You have no good marriage to you. This was a way of tearing down Shedeur without using a weapon, but you use the greatest weapon you can use, which is the camera and that microphone. I think we've proven this already over, so let's keep it real. The only reason he's even in the position he's in, which is Aaron Goldhammer, the reason why Aaron Goldhammer is in that ESPN Cleveland position is because of privilege. Oh, you guys don't believe me? His dad had ties with the station's ownership. This is factual. Nepotism at its finest, yet Aaron has been calling guys like Bronny nepotism, baby, when he benefited from the same nepotism of his well-to-do father. But nobody brings that up because it doesn't count when it's a different complexion. He didn't earn his spot. It was handed to him. That's why he comes across as entitled, out of touch, and spoiled. Cleveland fans aren't dumb. You guys hear me? Mark my word. This is why I've been giving props to the Cleveland fan base. I only go at the organization and the media personalities and the journalists, but the Cleveland residents, I love them. They're some of the most loyal, passionate fans in sports. This is facts. I think the lowly Cleveland Browns as an organization is pure evidence that the fans are nothing more than loyal people who will support at all costs. Now, that's why he comes across as entitled to the fan, because, listen, Goldhammer thinks he's the voice of reason for Cleveland. But, I've been breaking it down, we all don't see through his weak, uninspired takes that sounds like they were lifted straight off of ESPN.com or Twitter, because you guys all know the racists live on Twitter. He sounds like one of them. He is one of them. Facts. Now, let's not even get started on his radio presence. He's shrill. The voice, that is very shrill, always slurping into the mic, no ability to engage with real audience, obnoxious, out of touch, and completely unqualified to fit that radio personality position. But when you're in a privileged nepotism position, you'll get benefited despite the ratings falling down. Shedeur Sanders has been a grace to the majority of the Cleveland media. Their ratings have never been so higher since the days of one called Johnny Manziel. But we're not going to get into that. Now, the bigger picture, I wanted to break this down was more of, so what's the real story here? It's not about Shedeur hugging a kicker. It's not about backwards hat. It's about how certain media members, that is, cannot stand to see a confident young black quarterback walking in his own light, leading his team, and having the city of Cleveland behind him. He didn't even play a game yet. And it's jealousy, it's bias, and it's business as usual for guys like Aaron Goldhammer, that is. Yeah, you know what I insinuated right there, but we're going to leave that part alone. But the people aren't buying it. The fans aren't fooled. Cleveland knows who's their real leader is. They know it's Shedeur Sanders. If it's not, why is Aaron speaking on a radio show that's supposed to be hot, but the only subject you keep talking about is Shedeur Sanders? But when I talk about Shedeur Sanders too much, I'm glazing. But yet you haters of Shedeur, you don't skip a beat. You talk about him on every video we do do here? On every article you talk about Shedeur, why not just leave him alone if he's trash? Never reference or mention him again. But you're addicted and obsessed with Shedeur Sanders. This is fact. So next time ESPN Cleveland or Goldhammer tries to paint Shedeur Sanders as a problem, remember this. They're not exposing Shedeur. They're exposing themselves. Drop your thoughts in the comments, smash that like button, and subscribe if you're rocking with the real, because over here, we hold these fake narratives accountable. DJ BlessOne signing out, man. Unbelievable.
I've been broke so many times, I don't know what to believe. Mama say